like three blue lights, and they were in like a triangle, and they just stars in the sky, and it's huge.
It's more beautiful than I ever dreamed. Never be able to describe it to anyone.
With the Dover lights behind you.
Walked to an old street lamp and the world wasn't here. No silhouette of your figure to cancel my fear. Ever near, ever out, every shadow, everything. I keep trying in memory to fill it all in. Your violet kiss, I will have to repay. You constantly give, now it's time that you take. Live it up, going out in young resolve. Walk with me as the memory dissolves.
Greetings, fellow Earth babies, and welcome to Post-Punk Heartstrings. I'm Jimmy James S. Butler, and we bring you the strange phenomenon of Dover Lights, an Ozark mountain-based art rock duo. I think art rock is a description that's used, but I don't think it really captures the music of Dover Lights. In fact, I think it's really difficult to categorize their music. You know, it's got a goth feeling, a dark wave feeling, but I think it's really difficult to capture them into one genre, which is really cool and really flattering, I think, for the band. James Anderson and I got a chance to sit down with Daniel Brinker and Andy Moore for a great discussion of their musical past and their inspirations and what drives them, as well as digging into their first self-titled release, Dover Lights. The album was released in early 2021, and you can find it on Bandcamp, and you can listen to it on Spotify as well. I believe you can also get it from doverlights.com, and so I really encourage you to check out the album. Daniel is currently working on the next Dover Lights release. I don't think he's very far along the way, but he definitely is working towards bringing us this deep, dark, contemplative music. As usual, this is a pretty long conversation, maybe even longer than the typical, so I don't really want to do a long intro. There are a couple things I wanted to talk about a little bit, but I think I'll just save those for either the outro or a subsequent episode. I hope you enjoy the conversation. Thanks so much for tuning in, and if you've been here before, thanks for coming back. I usually say I appreciate those of you who have been here before and come back for more. But I guess I mixed it up a little bit. Not as poetic as I usually say it, but my brain doesn't work the same way it used to. Thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks for being game.
Thanks for having me. I like your Labyrinth poster in the background there.
Yeah. We just moved into a new house, and so I've got nothing up, and I was like, I got to put something back there. So I got David, looking over my shoulder. like a little angel or a devil, which you can pick.
Well, man, so good to talk to you guys. Yeah. Me and Jim. So it's Jim and Jimmy. I'm Jimmy Jim. Has the chameleon shirt, and Jim is the guy. I do. All right, awesome.
Yeah, no.
What do you got on, Jim?
Yeah, no.
That's okay. Where's your church shirt?
Somewhere in my dresser. I can't wear it every time we do pictures.
That's true. That's true.
Daniel and I are wearing our hoodie uniforms that we wear all the time.
You guys called each other ahead of time, probably.
What are you wearing?
Our early 2000s post rock Mogwai uniforms.
Exactly. Coordinated.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, hey, thanks again for joining us. I've been listening to your music a bunch. It's stuck in my head now, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's I've been contemplating all of these dark, moody
I had to seek
soundscapes and images. It's good. I'm just joking around. So
I had to re-listen to it over the past couple of days. You know, it's been like 4 years since we released it.
Yeah,
this is the first interview in 4 years, right, Andy? Like the last
Something
video.
like that, I guess. Yeah. Pretty close.
I'm happy anybody's still listening to it.
I saw that. I mean, you guys had a bunch of interview. Well, I say a bunch. I saw a list of them on your site in different places, but I thought, okay, sometimes I go and listen just to see if somebody's done something, and then I'll avoid that. But I was like, you know what? I don't want to hear anything that anybody, that you told anybody or they asked you. I just want to go fresh here. So good. Yeah. So you've had a break from interviews for a while. So
nice. Yeah.
Anyway,
it'll all be fresh to me.
What's that?
It'll all be fresh to me. I don't remember much of.
You were there, but you don't remember. You were in at least one of them that I started watching with these two gals. I think.
Oh, okay.
It was like a dark. Wave type,
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, with Obscura.
I watched a little bit of that, but
yeah, that's it. Obscura Undead, is that what it's called?
Yes, that was it. That was it. Yeah.
Do you remember it? Okay, it's coming back.
Yeah. It looked pretty memorable from what I watched.
Yeah, they were really awesome.
It looked good though. Yeah, it's cool.
Super cool.
And now you got us. We're not really dressed goth or anything.
You guys are pretty cool. I heard that you interviewed Steve Kilbey the other day, and it hasn't come out yet.
We did, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, a few weeks ago, and we were going to have a follow up, but I don't know. It just never happened. So we may pick. We got cut off. Like his phone got cut off. Like right in the middle of it. We got a lot of
good stuff though.
Well, I shouldn't say in the middle of it. We were
at the end. Yeah. We were talking about it,
and he was going to follow up, but I think he's Steve Kilbey. He was busy. He's very busy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was cool. Yeah. So we got Daniel Brinker, right?
That's me.
And Andy Moore, right?
Yeah.
From the Ozark Mountains. I was just telling, before you got on, I was telling Andy that there's a buddy of mine that we go hiking. He's from Dallas, and we kind of meet halfway a lot of times, or kind of close to that. Yeah. And so I was trying to remember why I went through Russellville or close to that. And we were down at Mount Nebo State Park, which is right close to there. Yeah, and because we just kind of picked places that look cool, so we went down there. And then we went to Ponca, Arkansas, which is, I think, a little bit further north, maybe.
About an hour from.
But yeah, so cool down there. We love going down to Arkansas. So much to see. Geologically, it's like crazy.
Yeah. Beautiful. So. Yeah. I like Kansas City. It's been a couple of years since I was there. I saw David Gray there last time. And,
did you? Oh, cool.
Some of the jazz.
Where was he at? Jazz Club. Yeah. Okay.
The Starlight Amphitheater. Does that sound right?
Oh, yeah. There's a big outdoor amphitheater. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, it'd be great. It was like the anniversary of White Ladder. I don't know if you're familiar with that album. But...
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yep. Yeah. That's the only one I know.
Probably one of his most popular ones, I would say, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But I do like him. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. I'm glad you guys get up to Kansas City sometimes.
Yeah. Get the Jazz
City.
Yeah.
Yep. So you want to jump in?
Talking to me?
I'm ready.
Well, Jim. Yes, this is all about you, Jim. This interview is for you.
Yeah, let me tell you about myself. All right, go ahead.
You guys are here to talk to Jim and about Airedale.
What do you guys want to know about me?
Yeah, I want to hear about Airedale. Where'd you guys meet?
I met myself.
Where did you guy meet?
That's I met myself about 50 years ago.
50 good years.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna digress really quickly.
We can
because we have a ton of questions.
Okay.
Oh man. Okay, so right off the bat, tell us about how Dover Likes got started. Where did the name come from? How did your creative partnership begin, etc.?
Oh man, Andy and I, we've known each other since we were teenagers. He just moved to Russellville from Fort Smith for college, and we were going to the same church together. And Andy's about a year and a half older than me, so he was like a guitar shredder, and I just thought he was really cool. So we became friends, and we watched a bunch of Saturday Night Live videos together, and just watched Wes Anderson films, and just had a great time.
Oh, awesome. Yeah,
he's kind of big brother.
Love Wes.
Yeah. So yeah, we've just known each other for a long time. A few years ago, I think it was about 6 years ago, I got started on the record. I mean, a lot of the songs had been in the making for 10 years, Yeah, I didn't really know where to start. I mean, I just thought it was going to be like me and the acoustic guitar, and over the years, like you just start collecting things like, keyboards and microphones and interfaces.
Yeah.
And you just amass a collection. And so I was like, you know what? Instead of going minimalist, I'm just going to go all out and just use whatever I've got. And Eddie had done a record of his own, self-titled, like a year and a half before we got Dover Lights, or maybe 2 years. And so he had quite a bit of experience recording, and he'd recorded with his former band, Deos Vale, that kind of like a indie rock band that had been on the road for like 7 years. Is that right, Andy? You guys toured for like 6 or 7 years?
Yeah, we toured for 6 years. We put out like 3 albums on a label out of Nashville, and I had a pretty good amount of experience with recording through that. We were in lots of studio time with that. And then when I wanted to record my own album, I called up one of the guys that had recorded us a lot. He kind of had become a mentor through that experience, through recording and touring and all that stuff. And he was like, I was calling him to see how much it would cost to come record with him. And he's like, nah, you can do it yourself. Let me, he just kind of told me where to start. And so I, saved up some money, and I bought the best gear I could afford that would give me a lot of versatility, And so, I worked my way through my album, and I don't know, Daniel was my sounding board for everything. A lot of people in the South are like, they'll be really complimentary, but they won't give you like real good feedback. If like,
it's kind of, just short, come back.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's nice.
Sounds great.
Yeah. But I was like, I was working on this album all by myself. I was like, I don't know if this is good or bad. I don't know what's happening. And so Daniel was I put him on the album as my creative consultant, because I didn't know what to call what he was doing, but it was like vital that he was there. And so he would listen to the songs, and at first he was like, this is pretty good. He's like, I'm really glad you're writing these songs. And then I finally wrote a good song, and he was like, now this song is good. These other ones are crap. This one's good. And I was like, okay, this is the kind of feedback I'm looking for, So I knew I could trust him to be honest with me after that. So he wasn't too brutal. But anyway, because of that, I was able to push through and finish my album. And so that I guess I had more experience just like editing and all that kind of, stuff that you're doing in your DAWs. And so anyway, we when he started working on his album, I thought I was coming over. Daniel's like, hey, can you come help me figure out this track? And I thought I was going to do what he did with my album, which is basically be a sounding board and maybe, say, well, here's a trick you can do on Logic to save some time, whatever. But pretty quickly it turned into like, hey, grab that guitar. And I was like, cool, yeah, this is awesome. So and like Daniel said, we like to watch a lot of funny movies, and like it was a really fun recording time, because we would do the hard work, and then we would take a break and do something really stupid, like just something funny or lighthearted. And anyway, I've been talking too much, but that's kind of how I got involved.
Yeah, I'm glad he did. Yeah, Andy's just an excellent musician. He can play anything pretty much. And I mean, a lot of the tracks I did myself after he kind of showed me what to do. But then I was like, man, it just needs something. It needs what I call Andy's candies. Just sweetens the deal, you just throw in licks here and there, and then there were times where I would get stuck, and I would be like, man, I want to have, like in the song Prisoners, I had a bass line and I had a synth line, and they're kind of weaving in and out of each other. And so I was like, Andy, what do you think? I was like, should I cut one and keep the other? I really like them both, but I don't really know how to fit them together. And he was like, well, let's just EQ them up a little bit, and we'll pan them hard left and right. And we did that, and it worked out perfectly. And even in mono, it sounds good, just the way that it was mixed. But yeah, we worked on it for several months. We took it to Darren Stribling. He's got a recording studio here called Blue Chair. My good friend Adam Fawcett recommended that we take it to him and have him help us mix it. So Andy and I sat in, and he mixed it with us quite a bit, and we took it back and mixed some ourselves, and then came back to him. And it was an experience. I mean, I was listening to it earlier today, and I was like, how do we get some of the sounds? Like, I couldn't. It took me a second.
You can't recreate it, maybe.
There's no way. Yeah. A lot of stuff. I mean, and we played off of the sounds. Like something was wrong. If we liked it, we just kept it. Like there were dissonant chords and things where certain things got cut off at certain points. Like the end of the song Stone, it just it was an accident, but the reverb trill kept on. I was like, that's perfect. Because it's driving like hypnotic.
We didn't get down to that song. We were going to talk about songs, but I was listening to that song the other day in my car, and I was like, at the end, I was like, is there something wrong with my car? I thought there was like something. I was like, this. I thought something was rubbing on the bottom. I was like, oh, that's part of the song. It's funny. It was cool. Yeah.
So we just like started playing the sounds, and it was a playground. It was just, just messing around with soundscapes, having a good time. I mean, there's a lot of work, tons of hours just sitting there mixing and, snipping certain things, getting them lined up correctly. But yeah, I mean, it was interesting, the whole process.
Yeah. And just to say kind of how I felt like it challenged me being part of it, because I'm very much used to like a more formulaic, that's not quite what I mean, but like a more of a structured way of writing a song and recording it and do it this way and that. And Daniel was more like almost like using his emotion as his inspiration, as in a more raw way than what I was used to. And at first it was like, I don't know what to do in this world. It's like, there was too much, like too many things that I didn't know how they connected, but it really stretched me to where now that's like, I'm trying that myself now with something I'm writing. And it's like my favorite thing I've done. So I'm really grateful that I got to get, out of my comfort zone with that and grow as a musician, just being around Daniel and his style and getting to contribute to that. And like, just, I feel like I had a bit of a musical education in that time too, because his taste is a lot more broad than what mine was at the time. So, but it has grown since the.
Yeah, it sounds like it released your creativity, just kind of interacting with each other even. Yeah. It's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
that's the true post-punk way of creating music,
And to what Andy was saying, he's got a new record that he's working on, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with Blue Nile or Paul Buchanan. Andy's new record, it kind of reminds me of that, but it's got a lot of post-rock elements as well. But it's very like I want to say it's got a lot of variation, a lot of diversity to it. I would say it's. In a way, it's similar to Doverlights in that it's like a maximalist record, but some of the songs are very stripped down as well. So it kind of weaves in and out, but it's totally his own style. The only thing I could compare it to would be like there's elements of Paul Simon and Paul Buchanan, and then there's elements of Mogwai and Sigur Rós, and Spirit of Eden kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, we just bounce ideas off each other.
Good deal. So I'm going to take you guys back a little bit and talk about when each of you first started getting interested in creative music. I mean, just from what age did you learn to play or got interested? And, what was sort of the moment that, it kind of flipped the switch for you guys? Like, hey, this is what I really dig, and I'm going to, I want to get into this.
Man, I mean, my dad was really into classic rock and all kinds of music. We had 2 100 disc like CD players that we bought at Best Buy. You could like use the remote and like
100.
I remember, man. I heard about those.
We would pawn shop all the time, so he was picking up stuff like Blondie to Grace Jones to ZZ Top. And I remember some of the first records or the CDs that I bought were like stacks of Kiss albums, like Destroyer. And, you wanted the best, you got the best, like the live album. And I think probably for me, like it was a mixture between like, just all those elements, and picked up the guitar, started learning Beatles songs when I was about 12 or 13.
Nice.
But I always wanted Les Paul. I always wanted to be Ace Frehley when I was. So
you got it.
Yeah, got it. What about you, Andy?
I grew up in a pretty musical family, but I didn't get the bug until I was 15. And my friend wanted to teach me some guitar chords, and so he taught me some like 3 chords, 4 chords, and just gave me a couple of song sheets to just try and bang out these chords. And I just played the crap out of my guitar. It was like a little Harmony electric guitar that my parents' son gave us when he, got rid of all his music stuff. Didn't have an amplifier, but had this little cheapo guitar. And I just and my parents probably loved that because there was no amp and it was so quiet. But I was just sitting there just I would play for hours every day, just hitting these chords over and over again.
Was it a solid body or like a Strat?
Yeah, it was electric. It was solid body electric, like a Stratocaster copy.
Yeah, I had that. I had one I got from Service Merchandise years back.
Oh, nice.
That's my first guitar. So yeah,
cool. I think we had one of those in my town, so that's probably where it came from.
Awesome. So, it came with a little amp. At least mine did.
Tiny
cool.
amp. Yeah.
Sounded terrible.
Yeah, this one might have. My parents might have thrown it in the trash so that I wouldn't have
probably.
I don't know.
You guys both had a Harmony. You both had a Harmony electric.
That's a Harmony too, right there. That's a Harmony.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
it's really old. It's like 69 or something. But,
I bet that actually sounds pretty good. Right?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's the action's high. Sorry.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
Back to you guys.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. So I started getting into this guy named Phil Keggy, who's like
I know.
Okay,
I've seen him.
So yeah, he kind of became my hero guitar wise, and I thought, well, one way to eat an elephant is just like one bite at a time. So I'm going to try to learn one of his songs, and my parents bought me a VHS like acoustic styles of Phil Keggy, and it had a little tab book in it. Mm-hmm. And so I wore that tape out, just like play pause, just like, what did he just do right there? And for like a month, just trying to figure out like, what's he doing? And I learned part of a song, and I thought, hey, now I know how to learn how to do something that I thought was impossible, a month ago. And so I just kept like pushing myself to keep getting more familiar with fretboard and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, apart from him, I didn't really ever learn anybody else's music. I just I would do this. I would put on a CD and I would just jam to the CD. And I didn't want to I didn't want to learn other people's parts. I wanted to try to find my own voice. And so because of that, I kind of developed my own musical voice, which was pretty fulfilling. And so that's how I got into music. And I kept, pushing myself far enough to where finally, after college, I ended up joining a band that played professionally for a while. So anyway, that's my origin story.
Do you remember what the Phil Keggy song was?
County Down was the name of it. It was, I think I know County Down is a location in Ireland, and it kind of has a lilting feel to it, but it's in dadgad tuning. And so that was kind of fun and exotic. And it had a lot of strumming in it at first. So I was like, well, I can get that part. I can figure out how to strum and do these weird things. And then he'd start finger picking. And I was like, well, I'll work on that next week. But
he does some of the tapping as well.
Oh yeah.
He's pretty amazing. He's highly respected on both Christian and non-Christian sides.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
Yeah. What is the old legend is that Edge said something about him, right? There's some sort of legend that the Edge said, "Oh, I wish he would be he plays so well, he's so good, but I wish he would be more creative with his music or something."
Oh, really?
That's what the Edge.
I don't know if that's true, but that's what the rumor was or whatever.
Okay.
But anyway, who were your biggest musical influences? Were there specific artists or albums that shape your sound approach?
I mean, for me, it's like all across the board. I mean, when we were working on the record, I would tell Andy something like, okay, on Howling Man, like I'm pulling out some Kate Bush here, like from the Whole World album, where the Aeolian pipes come in, and it's like, she's walking the forest, I'm like, I want something that kind of like strikes that with like the weird little elements coming, but it didn't sound anything like her. But it's like just pulling through moments, I mean, everything from This Mortal Coil, 4AD, and back to Big Star. I mean, I found at one of those pawn shopping days, I found the 4-box disc set of This Mortal Coil, all three records, and then it had the original versions. It had like Gene Clark and Big Star, Chris Bell, Talking Heads. It had like Drugs by Talking Heads was on it. It was pretty amazing, just to like go back to some of the 60s and 70s songs that they redid as green pop goth in the early 80s, And so and I remember picking that record set up thinking that it had just come out, because it was the late 2000s, I was early 2000s, and I was listening to like Nine Inch Nails and things of that nature, Ministry and Skinny Puppy, and I was listening to that and I was like, man, this is sort of like the lighter side of industrial It's almost like industrial, and it's like industrial for sleep time or something. Then I figure out they're covering all these psychedelic '60s songs. So yeah, I mean, all across. I mean, that was a huge influence for me. Of course, Trent Reznor, Nine Inch Nails was really big. And I actually saw them. When was that? 2005 when they came to Little Rock. That was great.
What? I don't think I could go to that one.
Cool.
Nine Inch Nails when they came to Little Rock.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it was 2005. But yeah. I mean, it's all across the board. Beatles, U2, Radiohead. Yeah. I mean, Kiss.
Hey,
Of course.
yeah.
It's all over.
How about you, Andy?
I think the first time that music kind of broke my mind a little bit was when I heard Joshua Tree for the first time.
Oh yeah.
And kind of that expansive intro. I thought, this is rock and roll. You can do that. I think I first heard that in like 2003. So I was 20 years.
Oh wow.
behind. Yeah, I was a bit sheltered growing up, but anyway. So yeah, that album I started to kind of realize, wow, there's a lot more to rock and roll than what I understand. And I had a friend recommend I listen to don't slip my mind, Jeff Buckley, to the Grace album.
Jeff Buckley, yeah, the Grace, that album,
yeah.
I guess there's only a couple anyway, so
yeah. There's the Sketches for My Sweetheart.
Sketches was kind of this post, after that.
Yeah. And once I heard him, I was like, whoa, this is like he was able to go places I didn't know you could go as well. So a lot of like mind-blowing things for me all kind of happening at the same time.
Yeah.
But Jeff Buckley is still a major influence for me. Just the way he sings, the way he plays guitar. He's an unbelievable guitar player and writer on guitar. So, but then I think I started getting into, my roommate got into Sigur in like 2001 when the Parentheses album came out. That was in 2002, I guess. And I heard that and my mind was blown. I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard. I don't even know how to explain it. It was like a spiritual moment, and so those three, I think, are kind of like that time of my life really started breaking me into some new ground. And then around that time too, Kid A came out. Radiohead's Kid A. And so I got into that a little bit. I wasn't super into, I listened to that album a lot, but I didn't know their stuff until In Rainbows came out, which was in like mid 2007. And then that was kind of like a culmination of all the things I liked from those other bands. There's a lot of atmosphere, but there's still like some attitude and creativity, but minimalism. And I don't know, it was just really, really cool experience just listening to that. And that was when I was in my band. And so I've always been pretty bad about just like, I guess, showing my influences. And so after I heard In Rainbows, I'm like, this is how we're going to do the next album. We're going to try to do this. I don't think anyone else in the band thought that, but that's what I tried to do. So anyway, so yeah, those are probably my top influences then. And then lately I've been getting more into post-rock stuff. So Sigur obviously, and then Daniel introduced me to Talk, Spirit of Eden. And that album and Laughing Stock just kind of have been rocking my world too. So
amazing.
Yeah, amazing albums. Yeah.
Jimmy, something I got to interject real quick.
Sure, absolutely.
It's my dad off when I was younger. We our styles and love of music converged on a lot of stuff. I loved Bjork and Aphex Twin and all the stuff coming out of Warp Records and DJ Shadow and Uncle and all that stuff, like all like just that British like 90s and my dad hated that stuff. So that was like my way to piss him off was play Bjork and but that's a huge influence.
Everybody's got to have a way to piss their parents off in some way.
Yeah.
That's right.
Got to have that rebel streak, even if it's mild,
He hated Underworld.
Cool. Well, I forgot about Underworld. Wow. I used to have one of their CDs. It's probably buried somewhere.
I heard some indie band did like a kind of a shoegaze cover of Born Slippy. That was the song off of Trainspotting. It was like the big theme song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great band.
Crazy movie.
Cool.
Yeah, it was. Oh yeah.
So we're talking about bands. So let's, there's no judgment attached to this question. Okay, just remember that when I ask it. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money? Like you wanted it, you know. I'll take somebody bought it for you, but it's the album you wanted. You know, you asked for, you bought, and again, no judgment.
I'm pretty sure my first one was MC Hammer's "Please Hammer, Don't Hurt 'Em."
Oh wow!
Thank you for your honesty. I got. Thank you for your honesty.
Yeah. The first album my mom bought me was Kenny G's Gravity. So
there you go.
Yeah.
So those are nice. I remember having 2 CDs, and those are the 2 CDs I had for like a year. Yeah.
Which one did you wear out first? It's hard to wear a CD out. You can do it with a cassette tape, but you know.
Yeah, I think I listened to Kenny G more actually, so I don't know what that says. I might have to talk to my therapist about this.
That's all right. I've got a picture of Air Supply, the one with the balloon on the front. That's one of my first album. I was like, oh, I want that. I think I was like 13 or something like that. Yeah, yeah. And then I also had then I had Van Halen at at the same time. So whatever,
right.
you know. But,
yeah.
How about you, Daniel? What you got?
First records that I ever remember buying were.
Sounds like you were exposed to a lot, man.
Yeah,
different albums.
First I got for myself were albums that I found in the back of a car at my dad's junkyard. He had an auto salvage. It was like this big desert of cars up on the hill, looking out at Mount Nebo.
Okay.
You bring in these cars and strip them and sell the parts. You know, it's like ship them nationwide. And always got like first pick of like what was in the trunk. You know, sometimes you had to be careful. Like you would find cars. Like once we found the car with the windshield smashed in, it had horsetail hairs all through the windshield.
Oh my gosh! There's a story right there, right?
Needles in the front seat. So somebody had been shooting up, and they ran into a horse's ass.
Oh my gosh!
That's how that car wound up in our salvage yard. But the first album that I ever got that I just like claimed as my own was I found I think it was like 3 albums together. It was Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet. I think it was the first Bon Jovi album that has Runaway on it. I think it's self-titled. And then there was another one, like 3 Bon Jovi albums. And I was 10 and I was just obsessed with Bon Jovi. And that's like, 10 years after the heyday. So yeah, my grandparents bought me like the latest Bon Jovi album that came out in the 90s, like for that Christmas. So
good. Cool. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
We have a follow-up question. Does that album still hold a place in your heart? I guess maybe there's nostalgia. Kenny G. We're back to Kenny G.
Yeah, not for me. No. It's just slight novelty and embarrassment. That's about it.
I don't know. I still jam out to Bon Jovi, I think, every once in a while, and when it comes on. Yeah. So
Steel Horse.
Oh, yeah. Still Horse I Ride. Okay, so let's talk about your writing stuff. Like who? I think I already know the answer to that, or to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So, who wrote the lyrics? How does the songwriting unfold? Like as far as the lyrics, along with the music and how you guys interact. You guys talked about it a little bit, I think, up front, but
yeah, I wrote all the lyrics. And pretty much all the melodies, but Andy would write he would help me arrange certain songs, and he helped record almost all of them. I think there's a couple that I did, just me and the guitars, but it was kind of started out as just my project, and then he just started, having great ideas. Like there was if I get lost or hung up, he was my go-to. There's that song that's just instrumental, Karen Tool 1, where it's kind of like a little meltdown after memory dissolves. So it's like really high energy in that. So Karen Tool 1's like this kind of post-rock sort of meltdown song. And it starts to get grainy toward the end. I'm like, man, this is boring. Like, what do you think we should do, Andy? You got any ideas? And he was like, yeah, let's make it sound like an old record. And I was like, okay, how are you going to do
what it sounds like?
Somehow took and did some sort of like an inversion with the EQ and put a filter on it, and I was like, there it is, Andy wrote, I would kind of give him an idea of what I wanted, like on Prisoners, like certain melodies like that. Do, 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 do. If you listen to the end of this, I'm playing like the lower harmony to that, and I recorded that beforehand, but he heard it and reinterpreted it and changed it around a little bit. And he would just add things like that just made everything better. Mainly like for arrangement and recordings, what Andy worked on. I laid down the basis of what it was about.
Cool. Anything to add, Andy?
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's a little undeserved to say I wrote any of these songs because I really enjoyed helping bring them to fruition, and I really enjoyed playing guitar and bass on there. But I mean, Daniel really did the hard work, I think, of making these songs have life and structure and all that. The messaging and the tone of it, he definitely set that really well. And the vision for it. I remember him talking about some of the vision he had for the album, and it was like down to the minutes. He's like, I want it to be between like maybe 38 and 42 minutes. I'm like, I've never considered album length in my songwriting process. But I mean, he had that clear of a vision for it, but at the same time was so open-handed with like just like how are we going to get there, and what's it actually going to sound like. It was more like that he had a vision for the feeling and the effect, and that was all because of his vision for it. So yeah, I'm grateful I got to be part of it. I felt like more like I was a tool in the tool belt than I was a craftsman or anything.
I was Bowie and he was Mick Ronson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
We'll get down to this a little bit later, or towards the end, but you guys are working on another album, right? Or should I say Daniel is?
Yeah,
No?
slowly.
Yes.
Slowly but surely, yes. I've got like, out of a 10-song album, I'm at the point where like, I've got the track listing, and some of them have like 3 lyrics, but quite a bit of melody written. Some of them are pretty much, completely done on the lyrics, like 3 of those songs. And then the other bit is like trying to mash them together and figure out, is this going to be one album, or am I going to split it into 2 EPs, or am I going to take half of these and put it on the next album and continue writing? Because I have no problem cutting stuff if it doesn't feel right. Like that was something on the Dover Lights record, that we cut certain songs and we reshaped certain songs. Like that last song of the record, Karen Tool number 2, Karen Tool 2, that is like kind of a driving sort of a post-punk thing. And then Andy and I just like, we felt like it was not what the song called for, so we just stripped it, redid it, and I'm just the kind of guy that's like, if it doesn't work, I'm not going to put it out until I'm ready. I probably should like take the approach of like just make stuff and throw it out there, like the Steve Kilbey approach, where almost all of it's good, but some of it is more good than the other, like all good. Yeah. It's like some of it's just a masterpiece. Other bits, it's like, oh, that's fun, Steve. I enjoy that. Like I should probably take that approach, and the music would be more fun. But I get holed up in this Batcave Beethoven thing.
Well, you got to stay true to your passion, I think, of how you do it or how you feel about it,
Yeah, I can't change my personality, but yeah, I mean, like it's coming along. It's coming along. So.
Cool. Yeah, I just asked that because you Andy was talking about being like a you're a tool to not you're not a tool, Andy. You are a tool.
I feel like I'm being misquoted here.
But I kind of feel like maybe it'll be a little bit more than that on this next album. Maybe it'll be, I don't know. Or will you, what's your feeling about that, Daniel?
Depends on how much Andy wants to, be a part of it. That's what it comes down to, like how much does Andy want to be a part of it? I have one song that I'm considering like not even singing. I thought I might just, I've written it, but I thought, I don't know, Andy almost seems like he'd be better singing this one. So I might just like let him reinterpret it, So I mean, it's just totally up to him on what he wants to do. We haven't really talked about it much.
He's too busy working on his album, right?
It is excellent. It's turning out to be just a wickedly good album. Yeah.
Thanks, Daniel. And it's like we're doing the same thing over again, because Daniel is still my sounding board. He's still like telling me like what's working and what's not, and all
telling you what's crap and what's and what's good, what's fabulous.
Yeah, our timing might be just the same again, because I feel like when I'm in the middle of what I'm doing right now, it's really hard for me to be creative outside of it. Because I was playing with another band last year and really just having a lot of fun and kind of helping them record and that sort of thing. But then I really started getting earnest about my own stuff. And I was like, guys, I got to take a break so I can put all my creative energy into this until it's done. So hopefully when I'm done, I'll be like, all right, I'm ready to start, pouring into the next Over Lights album. So I'll probably be better for it because I'm trying to, I guess, stretch myself a little bit even still. So maybe I have more to bring to the next Over Lights record too.
Are your albums are just like they're under your name?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Andy Moore. The first one was called Endless Wave, and it's a little bit more rock. A friend of mine told me he thought it sounded like 90s rock. I thought, well, that's probably true. It wasn't like my goal, but it was kind of my, there's a couple of parts that are definitely an homage to Jeff Buckley and Radiohead. So, they're kind of in the same vein. So, it's kind of in that vein a little bit.
Check out Andy's first record. I think you guys will like it.
Oh, yeah.
Is it on Bandcamp, or where can we find it?
There it is. Yeah, it's on Spotify, Bandcamp. Well, it should be on Bandcamp. Yeah. I've never advertised it on Bandcamp. I don't know how to use it very well. That's one thing I'm terrible at that Daniel's really good at is making sure people hear the music. I need to work on that this time.
I want to get into the songs a little bit, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just going to go through them. So Prisoners, which was a really cool video, by the way. There's a lot going on, but it's cool. Yeah, really cool. And I really like there's like a marching type rhythm through it. If it kind of sounds like that. There's like this strong
cadence, existential
thread. There's this phrase, programmed for senescence. How did you come up with that?
I just had this weird feeling that Jimmy was going to ask me this because I heard you work in a science lab.
I do.
Yeah, so in college, I volunteered working in the in our biology lab doing cotton plant photosynthesis stuff. And one of the words that I kept coming up across in like the literature is senescence, which is basically just decay and death of I guess any organism, but mainly plants. It's used in that literature. So I don't know, senescence. It's like we're all going to die. Like they have times that these telomeres are going to stretch, right? Like so many crossovers before we're programmed for it's just going to end. Biological life anyway. So
I guess maybe there was different thoughts that about in the song that are kind of merged together, but it's like, as some of it, is about like war and soldiers and, what they have to go pursue, I think there's a line about, I don't know, I'm not going to get the line right, but it was something about, you basically have to be like, okay, I have to go storm the line or something like that. I think that the lyric was something different, but it's basically that idea of like, you just got to go assault this line, like kind of like they did in World War II, like storm the beach, right? A ton of them are dying, right? And they're just like, that's what they're gearing up for. They know that it's inevitable, but no.
The beginning I think it's in the first verse. I can't, for some reason, my own lyrics are escaping me, but it's something about guided by the thoughts of lines they'll have to break.
Prisoners are gathered in the port at dawn. The sky is burnt up and filled with iron. Uniformed men of divisions are awake, guided by the thoughts of lines they'll have to break. Put your ear to the ground and listen. Tap into the wire, but there's no transmission. Above all, I will this one thing, and I plan to take it. My life is not long enough, it's so far past the limit. My shoulders aren't broad enough, but I plan to take it.
So it's like, yeah, I mean, it was. I watched a documentary on World War II. I think it was on the History Channel a few years ago. It was like really in depth, and it showed a lot of footage I'd never seen before. And I'd spent some time in Germany years ago, and spent time in Berlin and Potsdam, just outside of Berlin. I just remember walking some of those streets and just like getting this feeling like God has not been invited here in a long. Like,
yeah,
even years after the fact, and like you'd go out at night, and certain time there was nobody on the streets, man. The curfew was still stuck.
Yeah, you said there's curfew still in their head, right? There's nobody to enforce it. Yeah,
I'm going out there, you know. So yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to put that into a song, and I mean, just kind of parallel it with. I mean, the video I think spells it out more than anything. It was dedicated to the people of Hong Kong because China took over a few years ago, and there's that juxtaposition of the people of Hong Kong being tear gassed and brutalized, and then you've got the other images of people of Berlin chipping down the wall. Well, you got images in
building it. Yeah, both of it. Yeah.
So it's like, things repeat themselves. Humanity does the same crap over and over again. And so do we. I mean, there's stuff in there that's just personal, it's like,
the one thing. What is the one thing?
It's a Kierkegaard book. It's called Dirty Heart is the one thing. And it's one of my favorite books. He just like talks about just over and over again. It's basically like the same thing for like 200 pages. It's don't follow the crowd, like choose the one thing. He's basically getting at like the spiritual longing, God basically. But it's funny, some of his stuff, he really spells it out. Like he came from like a Lutheran Christian background, but in that book, I don't know. It just gave me like this image, and I don't even know if it's in the book, but I put it in the video of just like a lone flame, like a candle burning.
Yeah, it keeps going down slowly in the video, like you see it getting shorter. Yeah.
I don't think that's even in the book, but that's just the image that I saw the whole time I was reading it. So I put that in the video. But yeah, there's a lot in there, but it's just me trying to make sense of it, like make sense of human brutality and just pushing out of that and the brutality of your own self, and like you hating yourself or beating yourself up or whatever it may be, like trying to break through and grasp for God, basically. It's kind of the idea.
Was that a synthesizer or organ, or what is it, like that background? I assume it's a synth, but
there's a lot of synth in that song. Yeah, that like bum, 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 dun, dun, dun. It's like back and forth, do, do, do. Yeah, there's that. And then there's a bass driving over top of it. But a lot of the sounds you're hearing are guitar. They're just...
Did you say EBO?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like really
that's what I thought.
Squelchy EBO through a fuzz pedal. And then Andy played through the fuzz pedal, put it on the neck pickup, and it just got this giant...
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of really cool.
Yeah.
That solo, Daniel, tell me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure you told me, I want you to go home and listen to Shout by Tears for Fears.
Yeah.
And then be inspired by that to write the guitar part tomorrow. I was like, okay.
Yeah,
worked out pretty good.
Yeah. Definitely Tears for Fears meets like Nine Inch Nails is kind of how I hear that song play out. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Terrors of the Night. It's both kind of vulnerable and dark. Jim, I think you asked this question. Have either of you experienced night terrors? Was that your question, Jim?
Yeah.
I used to get paralysis when I was a kid. Like I wouldn't. Just be still, and I'd have to you ever see that Kill Bill where she tells herself move your big toe or whatever? I had to do that. Like when I was a kid, I would be like, move your finger or whatever, and eventually it would come around. You had to just like not panic, So but that's not really what the song's about. But yeah, something like that.
You didn't see the black figure in the corner, did you?
I have before, but
scary.
That's just whenever I'm spending the night.
It's just you,
Batman,
hunkered in the corner. That would be creepy as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty tall. That could be pretty ominous.
Pull the hoodie up.
Right.
I think this song is interesting musically because it's kind of darkish, but then it when you're saying the part of what's it say? Don't leave me hanging here.
Yeah.
Don't leave me on my own. It kind of lightens up at that part. It feels like the music kind of lightens up, even though you're like begging for, or not begging, maybe beseeching somebody. It's kind of interesting that contrast to me.
Yeah, it changes key like a couple of times. Like it drifts in and out of keys.
Essence of life, the essence of my life. Don't leave me waiting here. Don't leave me on my own. Don't leave me hanging, no. Don't leave me waiting here. Don't leave me on my own. Don't leave me hanging. Don't leave me hanging here. Don't leave me on my own. Don't leave me hanging, waiting here. Don't leave me on my own. Don't leave me hanging, waiting on the terrace of the night.
I don't know. I was thinking about that song. I hadn't really thought about it much in several years, and my daughter, she's 5.5. She loves anything to do with Supergirl and Superman, the whole Krypton thing. So I've always been a huge Batman fan. You know, we got the whole darkness thing going.
Yeah.
But you know, really think about it, like Superman's story is like way darker. His entire planet gets shut down, you know? Like you know, and I have always loved that story, but my little girl was bringing up, you know, she was talking about Krypton and all the people that were lost. And I was like, wow, this 5-year-old is like really feeling for the Kryptonians. Like, this is nuts. And I was like, about, you know, that song, you know, it's like, I'll be the last one on earth, the last one to die. You know, I didn't really write it for myself. I mean, there's some self-referencing type things in there, but I wrote it for some close friends and family, and partially myself. And there's some Christ on the cross in there. There's, you know, I think there's some Kal-El in there too. You know, I think there's a little Superman in there. Mm-hmm. The sci-fi current runs through the whole record, but it's like, yeah.
It kind of reminds me of a church record, because it's like you have like the futuristic, but you also feel like, okay, maybe it's also about the ancient past or whatever, and it's kind of all thrown in there together, all the imagery. Yeah.
It's like everything all at one, you know, moment in time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, one of my favorite moments of Daniel's voice on this album is in Terrors of the Night. And I don't know, I think Daniel maybe doesn't like it, but I think it's awesome. But it's when he's, it's maybe the last time you're saying, like, don't leave me hanging here. Don't leave me on my own. Don't leave me hanging. Wait. And that part is just like, your voice gets gravelly, and it's like there's this band called Future Islands that they had this really cool performance on David Letterman where they sing in this real beautiful song, and then he just gets really gritty, and it's like, holy crap. You know, so like, where did that come from? I feel like that has a similar kind of like effect where it really grabs you. So I really, that's my favorite part of that song.
Yeah, he's getting his voice kind of conveying more, getting more desperate, you know, kind of reaching that crescendo.
Yeah, it's like this sounds good. Is the person at the end of himself. It's really, really gripping.
Cool.
Good job, Daniel.
Good job. Well done. You probably screamed a whole bunch, and that's why your throat was like...
It was like the 15th or 16th take.
Right. Okay, Memory Dissolves. This is like the gateway to Dover Lights music, right? I think this is kind of the most accessible track, I think, maybe.
It's a single?
Yeah, the single, yeah.
Set it to the same BPM as Level Tears Apart. I can't remember what that BPM was. 100. I don't know. I figured out
the metronome.
Yeah. Oh no! I programmed the drums to that BPM, and I was like, "Yeah,
I gotcha."
I was like, "There's going to be something in here that people are going to like."
it kind of has that Joy Division feel to it to me. But yeah, so of course we have the great line, "Your violent kiss, I will have to repay."
Yeah,
love that. And you constantly give. Now it's time that you take. Beautiful and eerie is what my notes were on this song.
We swam far enough that we had to get back. On the shores of the night were glasses of black. Ever near, ever out, every shadow, every as the memory dissolves.
Was this a seed of a song when it came to you, and then you kind of just developed this, or tell us about the process of putting this song together?
Yeah, I wrote that one pretty quick. I was out at the Lake Dardanelle State Park, which is like right in front of Lake Dardanelle, and Mount Nebo is just like right there across the lake. And there was these two young people, like I don't know, they're probably 18 or 20, embracing like next to the lake. And I can't remember why I was out there. I think I went to take a walk or a jog or something, and I was just like, wow, like just seeing the beauty of everything in that moment. I was like, man, I'm old. I'm like way up in my 30s, and here they are. I'm just like this nostalgia, just thinking about all the things from the past and all the times when I was that age, and it just, the song came out, and that I found all that old footage that my brother filmed in 2001 when he was like 14 and I was 16, and I had my first vehicle, and we were just filming it on a VHS camcorder, and found all that, I digitized it and turned it into the video. So and another side story about that song, this guy in Brazil who's like the owner, or maybe he's the head DJ at the Madam Club. It's like this post-punk goth club. And every time they would play that song, he would tag me and say, "People are dancing to your song." And I'm like, "Oh, Madam." So it's like, yes.
That's awesome.
They're rocking the Madam to Memory Dissolves. Like, follow Brazil.
Cool.
Is that club still there?
Still there. Got the gargoyle, I think, above the door.
Oh, cool.
Nice. All right, Andy, did you have any additions to that song that you brought in that you said, hey, let's do this?
I got to play bass on that song, I think, right, Daniel?
You played bass and all those like really screechy, shoegazy kind of guitar sounds. I didn't even know what shoegaze was at the time. People kept telling me that, and I was like, "Oh, I do like shoegaze." Okay, I was like, "Okay, yeah." Andy did the electric guitar and the bass on that, and bass, very aggressive, like exactly what the song needed. Great guitar. Yeah.
That was that might have been the guitar might have been the first thing I recorded on this, like 6 months before we really started recording in earnest. Because you'd come by and you're like, I'm working on this song. I want this kind of cat yowling feeling, and I was like this, like, and I kept just like fiddling around, and there was only one note that I really liked, so I'd like keep coming back to that one note. Well, Daniel used all of it in there, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I thought we were
going to go back the next day and re-record it, and I was like, no, we're good, it's done.
That's right. I was like, I thought it was just like learning how the song structure went, and he just recorded all of it. So okay. But the bass was a little bit more. The bass was more intentional, and that was a lot of fun. I love playing bass, so it was a lot of fun to play on that one.
Very aggressive, awesome.
Yeah. All right, let me see if I can say this correctly. Karen Toohill, is that right?
Karen Toohill.
So is that the mountain that's in Ireland? Is that what you're referring to? Okay.
Yeah, that's mountain in Ireland.
Yeah. So we have a 1 and a 2. So this is 1, right? This is the instrumental. Yeah. So is there a story behind this? Was this just a feeling?
Karen Toohill 2 was written first. Karen Toohill 1 was kind of an afterthought, but I just thought, man, after Memory Dissolves, like there needs to be somewhat of a break. And I love it in records when someone has like a leitmotif or a movement, that kind of recurring theme that pops up on a record. So basically I took Karen Toohill 2, turned it into an instrumental, changed the key and added some different kind of found sounds. I think there's some rain in that song, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. No, Karen Toohill 2 has the rain, I think. But anyway, Andy recorded a Telecaster on that, and I put in the bass and the Les Paul, and then he did that weird switch up where it turns from clean sounding to like the old radio sound. And it was just a nice intersection just to keep people interested and introduce that sound way before it comes at the last song. So,
have you heard the Church's song? Oh shoot! Now my
Happy Hunting Grounds.
Oh no, I wasn't thinking of that one.
Oh, that's what I was thinking of.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of a church song, Realm of Minor Angels. I don't know if you've heard that song. It's on their newest album. But the guitar part at the very beginning of this is like really similar. It actually, your song came out first. But I think Steve stole it. He must have, maybe. Anyway,
is that the first song on the new record? Is it the first?
No, I think it's actually that one's on the second. What's the second album, Jim? Zeta.
Zeta.
Oh, okay, yeah. There's Hypnagogue.
That's the first song on that one. Well, maybe that's what you're referring to when you say the new one.
Yeah,
that one just came out after Hypnagogue. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see some similarities. That's really cool. Yeah, I mean, I love the church. I mean, that's one of my.
It's
favorite.
like dun 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 dun. That's the guitar part. It was kind of and it was kind of similar to the beginning of this.
Cool.
So that was pretty cool.
Similarity there.
Yeah. Blue Fox. Oh boy. I think, Jim, did you ask this? Was this inspired by a dream or a childhood memory?
Feels like, yeah. What's the story behind Blue Fox? Is that a story?
Probably the most like literal song on the record, I guess. I mean, it was literally me just walking like outside my house when I lived in Conway. It's a college town about 45 minutes from here, but they had a lot of foxes in Conway. So I'm not like, ooh, foxes. Got a lot of at nighttime. You see quite a few like gray foxes and red foxes, but that was pretty literal. The thing about Arabian Nights or whatever in the song, that was I don't know, I just always got a thing for like the big spade doors and the fortresses. Like I got the Alhambra in Spain and got to see the Red Fort of Agra in India and those places. So always like that kind of stuff. So I just kind of put it in there. It's just kind of an amusing song, and it almost didn't make it. Thought that song was a little too like on the nose, but my wife loved it, Andy loved it, all my friends loved it, and they were like, dude, keep it in the record, keep it in there. It's like, no, it sucks. No, keep it. It's like, you win.
I'm glad it's in there. I will say it kind of stands apart a little bit, you know, stylistically, but I think it's a great song. It's very mournful, you know.
More folky, I think, than the other stuff.
Yeah.
Like a folk song.
It kind of reminds me of Eddie Vedder singing or something like that. I mean, that vocal, you know. I don't know.
I've heard people say that. Yeah, it's funny. Like I've never listened to any of his records. I know him from Pearl Jam, but I mean, I guess I could. Hey, you know what? He had some hits. I'll take it. You know?
I know very little myself, but I just know. I mean, it kind of sounded like that, but it sounds really good. Yeah.
Blue Fox too. The recording, you had done this before we had started on the album, right? You'd had this one for a while.
Yeah, I think that was the first song that got recorded in anything. Yeah, it was like 5 years before the record. So,
yeah,
and it was all done Yeah.
And you were we'd tried to work on re-recording it, and you're like, nah, nothing feels right. This old recording feels right. And that was part of the reason we decided to just like make it sound different. Like, well, let's make it sound like it's on an old AM radio station. And that was part of the driver to make Karen 201 sound. So that's why Karen 201 shifts from hi-fi to lo-fi, because it ties you, it kind of carries you into Blue Fox.
Yeah, that was definitely the reasoning behind it. I think Andy might have caught that. He was like, well, how about, we lead into Blue Fox because it sounds so much more lo-fi. And then after Blue Fox, Three Women comes in and it's hi-fi again. It's just like really sparkly. And I mean, it's kind of melancholy and all that, but the sounds are more hi-fi.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so Three Women. This sounds like Chris Isaak meets Peter Murphy and meets the Church.
I like that, man.
That sounds so good.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. Is there a story behind this song?
There's 3 stories. Three
women.
Yeah, there are 3 stories to it. One of them was a dream that I had. I don't know. I was like half awake, half asleep. I was probably just hallucinating or something. I don't do drugs, but
during night terror.
During one of your night terrors, yeah.
yeah, one of those. But I had this dream that I was, a like a medieval knight, having a night terror. No, I'm kidding, not. But I had this dream that I was like medieval knight, and I don't know if I'd like been wounded in battle or what happened, but I like wake up and this woman like pulls this like filigree satin thing off my eyes, almost like I'd been dead or something, and it had red hair, and she just took me by the hand and helped me up, and I was like fully healed. It was really I don't know.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
Can't forget that dream. And the other bit, the part about the riding on the train with the woman through the Rhineland. Yeah, it was a young woman I met on the train from France to Germany. This was like back in 2007, really young. And we just like talked for like 7 hours, and she basically changed my life, like encouraged me to go to college.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. It's like a very, just a beautiful, beautiful moment, and, never talked to her after that. We got each other's information, but didn't keep up. But yeah, her name was Julie. So Julie, if you're out there, thank you for the song.
Thank you, Julie.
And then the last bit is my wife, Laura. So it's like, our trip to Ireland is talking about being on the crags of the coast. And the Three Women video is filmed on the west coast of Ireland. So like we go out to Skellig Michael. Probably seen it in some of the newer Star Wars movies where they go out to the big, mountain out in the sea.
Yeah.
It's cool. We get to take video of it. So third part's about her. And that chorus, like, I don't know, I was just driving one night and it just popped in my head, like, waited in history, fall nights in mystery, carry on. I have no idea really what it means, but I just stuck with it. So and Andy did he did the 12 string, told him what I wanted, just like immediately went to it, but it was almost supposed to have more like a classical sound to it, but he added a blue note, like a seventh or something in there, and it just changed the feel completely, and it changed the way that I played bass on it, and it changed the solo that I added in later. I just had to match it with some kind of blue note sort of feel. So yeah, thanks Andy for screwing that up.
Happy accident. Yeah.
To the Rhineland, to the border by train. 7 hours she had me, her hand in my face. Then when she left me, and the languages changed, I understood the guards' voices on my way home. To the second town that felt like my home. Waiting in history, all nights in mystery, carry on. Waiting in history, all nights in mystery, carry on.
I think you had a question, Jim. Did you have a question about the music on that?
Yeah, there's like a bell-like sound that's really beautiful that goes through the whole thing. Is that a synthesizer? Or is it like sounds like a xylophone or something? Go ahead.
Andy's Telecaster.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I asked him to go to the bridge pickup and roll the tone back on the bridge, which is kind of unusual. People do the opposite, put it on the neck.
Right.
But, went to the bridge, rolled the tone back, and then he did this slightly different variation on what he was playing on his telly on my 12-string acoustic. And I think that's where you get that sort of harpsichord sort of sound.
Yeah. What kind of effects? Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying, none of it sounds exactly like a guitar. It's
right. I didn't think it was a guitar. Yeah. It sounds awesome. What kind of effects are you using for that? Do you remember?
I think we were going, there's mostly reverb, maybe some delay, but there wasn't any, I don't think there was chorus. I don't think there was any kind of overdrive anywhere. It was really clean.
Okay.
Yeah, that one was, as far as I think maybe on the Telecaster, I think there might be a little bit of, we use Sound Toys, it's what like Nine Inch Nails uses on some of their latest albums. It's like a plug-in. It has like a whole bunch of rack units, and one of them was not the crystallizer. We use the crystallizer quite a bit, but whatever the pitch detune is, it's almost like a chorus. You're just
pitch shifter
a little bit, something like that. So it's like the only thing in the rack pitch. I think that's on the telly just a little bit, but not much.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love that. That sounds great.
A little bit.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Howling Man. I keep thinking of Peter Murphy on a lot of these. Maybe I don't know why, but
I'll tell you what, Jimmy. I'll tell you what.
Maybe the vocal style or what were we going to say? Sorry.
I said I love Peter Murphy. That's why I know.
Okay, I didn't know. Well, I didn't know. Because a lot of times people will, unintentionally, sound like somebody. So but he was an influence for you.
Yeah, the album Lion. I don't know if you listened to that one from 2014. That's one of my favorite records. Wow. When it first came out 11 years ago, I was just blown away. I didn't really know much about him. I knew him from Bauhaus, but not any of his solo stuff. I got to see him play 5 years ago in New Orleans with my brother, and
awesome.
I just love Peter. Wow. Love Peter Murphy.
Cool. Talk about how you approach the atmosphere in this one. There's a one point where the vocals kind of break out a little louder, I think, and then it kind of goes. I don't know. It almost feels like it goes to a psychological break, sort of. That's how the feeling I get,
The mind wanders endlessly, as does the human heart. Like an unclean spirit goes through every place, seeking rest but never finds it. I hollow out my insides and change my form as I stare into mirror. Far most of us afraid we've brought upon ourselves, but as a gift you may see a vision of hell.
That was probably the most experimental of all the songs. Like I don't think much of anything is traditional in that. Like the drums are a mixture of synth, programmed drums, and then our friend Ben Smith. Any of the live percussion on the record is Ben Smith. He's an old friend of ours that we've known forever, and he just knew what to do. He was just like, "Oh, hey, let's double time that and speed it up for the chorus, and let me add in these percussive elements." And I think Andy took some marbles and raked them across a snare drum at one point. After a bunch of delay. Yeah. Creates a weird creaking effect in the background. I was like, it's like a machine gun, but like a door creaking at the same time. That song, nothing was traditional. Like even though it was recorded, like that was probably the one where I just played around on a synth. I came up with a sound that I liked and let it sit for like 2 years or something. And then all of a sudden I found it in my Logic files and I was like, holy shit. I was like, God, this is creepy as hell and it fits these lyrics. And then I found some guitar that I'd recorded like the previous year. Somehow they were, I guess they were in the same key or similar key put together. And Andy took the EBO and put it on the bass on that song. So like the low sustained sounds are coming from the bass with an EBO. And then I did all the synthesizers on that with all the you call it the glides, like where the notes glide in. I pulled a Hans Zimmer on some of that.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
love Hans Zimmer. A little Hans Zimmer, and yeah, Andy just did crazy stuff with the guitar on that. There's some Nine Inch Nails sounds in there. Definitely Peter Murphy. Yeah, it's just a song about a nightmare, and yeah, about watch out for the devil.
Beautiful.
Keep an eye out.
Anything to add, Andy?
That's a good message. I'm sorry.
That's a good message.
Yeah, right. I remember this song kind of blew my mind just hearing it, and like it was a fun experiment, adding more and more, and it just kind of was so much. It was such a sound effect kind of song, you know. It's like there's something melodic, but the song's not about the melody; it's about like the effect. It's like just horror movie sound, you know.
Yeah.
And then I think it's a really cool part at the end where that voice comes in kind of out of, like, the song is over and then you got this crazy voice. It's like you're out of like Event Horizon or something. It's just like crazy distorted vocal that kind of cleans up and then fades out in this really distorted bit crusher sound at the end. And I remember your dad came over and we played it for him. I got and his dad's he's open to all kind of music, and we're playing this for him, and he kind of thinks the song's over, and then that kind of comes in. I remember him like getting startled, and this is a guy I've never seen get startled before. I was like, okay, this has an effect for sure. You know?
You saying that reminds me, I forgot about something, and I think it was in Blue Fox. There's vocals that come in maybe like 3/4 of the way through.
Yeah,
it's kind of like sounds like it's like somebody's like right in your ear, like right next to you. Is that like was that you?
It's like bassy. It's like real low in the back.
Was it the same? Was it your vocals again, or how did that work?
I was listening to it earlier today, and I was like, like a lot of the times with the vocals, I'm not the best singer. I'm not the best at staying on pitch all the time. So sometimes, I mean, there's kind of some talk singing elements in there, and then there's also me just using my voice as like almost an effect, like that, like I was talking about the glide on the synth where it kind of glides up. I notice I do that when I sing, and I think I use it as an effect almost. I've kind of taken note of that, like, oh yeah, interesting. Like I glide up to notes because I'm not a very good singer, but it turns out is its own effect, and I kept it in the box. A couple of people told me, you're kind of off pitch there or whatever. And I was like, screw it. Like
I thought it was cool. Because it's like you're listening. I think it's like maybe 3/4 of the way through, and then all of a sudden this voice comes in. It's like, wait, there's somebody like right behind me or right next to me. Yeah. I thought it was cool. Yeah.
I was driving. Cool. I heard this noise. I'm like, what's this noise coming from? And then I realized,
yeah.
I think it's panned like to one side or something.
Yeah, it is. I think it was in my right ear. Yeah. It's cool though.
Mm-hmm.
Desolate Illinois. This is an interesting song.
Okay.
I'm not sure what it's about. I think there might be something about crops in there. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a song about the sad, gray Midwest when you're riding on a train from Little Rock to Chicago in winter. That's basically what it is.
I always it throws me because I always think of Chicago, and that's not anything like the rest of Illinois, I guess. Right?
And when you get on, I mean, like when you're riding a train or driving through some of those fields in winter, it just looks decimated, like I don't know. It's kind of sad, you get that, but you get that clarity, like I was riding on a train from Little Rock to Chicago to visit my brother years ago when he lived up there. And I just looked out at the train, and it's not like riding a train through Europe where they pick places, to give people something to see. It's just desolate, man. Nothing there. There's like just a tree in the distance, and I was like, well, that's beautiful. I was like, I'll write a poem about that. And on that song, the one thing that I think is the most dynamic is the bass. The bass never does the same thing twice. Like the bass line that I was playing, I listened to it again, I was like, oh yeah, it's like everything else kind of holds it down. The bass is just going all over.
I like the drums on it. It reminds me of Neil Young's Harvest album. Just feels really raw and live, and kind of even has that not sloppy, but like that looseness to it on the drums. It's really I love to listen to that song.
Yeah, our friend Ben did the all the live percussion on that. He did that song.
In this song also, there's a rhythmic change, I think, or shift somewhere in the song, right? Yeah. When it goes into the part where every day I fall in love with the wind and her ways, like it's kind of a cool shift, I think, in the rhythm in the song.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorites right now that I've been listening to.
Yeah, my friend Warren Dickey, our good friend Warren, he's kind of the fourth member of the band. He played on that one song. So when you hear that Irish bouzouki, like how many strings are on that, Andy? Are there like 8 strings?
It's an 8 string. It's like a mandolin banjo, or not mandolin. It's like a I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's a mandolin, but like a bass mandolin. That's the word.
Yeah,
bass. Okay.
Yeah.
So that melody you're playing, it almost sounds like something you'd hear out of like an Italian film or something. That's him playing the Irish bouzouki. Kind of cool.
Yeah. Cool. Yep. Okay, Stone. Oh boy, this is the one that I thought something was wrong in my car at the end. When we listened to it goes. I was like, it's like in my car, like it's falling apart. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? Is my bumper coming off?
What's happening now?
It's cool though. There's like a pounding rhythm, and it also in this song it kind of gets lower at one point, and then it kind of comes back up towards the end. But I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. What were you trying to evoke with this song?
Yeah, that was just hypnotic. Some of that was also a mistake. The way that I was editing it one day, I think it goes like in 4/4, and then I think it goes like one measure or something in 5/4, and we had to count it out. Andy, I remember, was counting it out for Ben while Ben was playing. He was like watching Andy, and that was something Andy did throughout the whole record. Was like, he was the metronome. He would like kind of conduct and like direct us like, now, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Ben was having a little bit of a hard time at first, but then once Andy started counting him in, that was really cool. But that's a Les Paul through a Marshall with some digital effects on it. It just sounds like fire. And we took one of my other guitars, one of my cheaper guitars, and Andy threw the violin bow on it, and we added some like crazy harmonic
Sigur.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Jonesy.
Yeah. And then Ben took the tambourine. I said, I want some rattlesnake sounds, Ben. So he's like shaking the tambourine. It's panning up and down, left and right.
Mm-hmm.
It's about Christ looking out over Jerusalem and weeping over it. There's definitely
the biblical imagery in there in the phrasing, right? Yeah.
It's about, like seeing it with him and like being there in the moment and weeping, over it. Because it was destroyed in like 72 AD or something like that, like 30 or 40 years later. So that's what that song's about. But yeah, it's definitely heavy on the Black Rebel Motorcycle Club side. That's one of my other favorite bands. I listened to one of your podcasts the other day, and you're talking about the cult, about or not? Is it what am I? The call, not the cult.
The call. Oh boy, yeah.
Robert Levon being his son.
Yeah.
Kind of inspired me to work on this record. Like I saw Black Rebel play a few years ago, and I'd almost given up on playing music. And after that, I pulled my guitar out from behind the couch, and I was like, "Damn, this is one of the most awesome things I've ever seen."
Yeah, I have never seen them, but their music is it's so basic, kind of, but it's so good.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
Seeing them play live, you got to see them play. Like they have this wall of amps that it's stacked vertically, and I think the guitar player Peter uses a Kai head rush. It's like a digital delay pedal that shoots out the delays through like 5 different outputs. So it's going to 5 different amps. You can't hear it on recording because you're in stereo, right? You got left and right. But in real life, I mean, you can hear it going up and down the delay. So it sounds like this cascading wall.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
It's crazy. Yeah. Crazy.
Cool. So,
cool experience.
All right. We're down to Karen Hill 2. 2, the Nights in Shadow. No, I don't know. I think I just put that note down. I don't know why I put that. So we got kind of 2 songs, right? There's a super long pause. I mean, it's super long, right? How did this come together? You said you wrote this one first?
I think this
before
one,
the other Karen Hill.
Yeah, we wrote it before that. But actually, I think the first thing that you ever played on was that, or maybe it was the first thing I recorded. Yeah, I think you did something with it as well. But like
that's right.
The chromatic scale ending where it's like just descending.
Yeah,
I think it was the very first thing that got recorded for the record. And then you went back and added your and then that I think was the last thing that was recorded for the record. So. First thing I was that guitar descending, and the last thing on the record that was recorded was Andy's electric guitar and acoustics all timed together descending as well. So it's kind of like bringing it all together toward the end. Really cool.
I remember that guitar part, the electric guitar part. This is for the second half of this song. I don't know if we talked about this, but I always had envisioned the Blonde Redhead song. I can't remember the name of the song now, but there's a Blonde Redhead song on the album where they have the little fingers on it. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, no, the other one with the little puppet hands.
Oh, Paragon.
Paragon, thank you. Paragon. But there was some kind of guitar part that kind of walks down like that. I mean, it's not like exactly the same, but I remember feeling that vibe when we were working on that. So
tell us about the story of this song. What you thought? Yeah. Is there no place for you, my friend? Very finality. Mortality again. I don't know.
I had a neighbor when I lived in Conway. Lived in I think. What was it? I think it was the almost next to last year that I lived there. He went to college at Penn State, or not Pennsylvania State, University of Pennsylvania to get his PhD. And he just got really isolated. He was working on software and robotics. And he's one of those guys that definitely an engineer type, wasn't real good with emotions, but he had a good heart, and anyway, we lost him New Year's Eve several years ago, suicide. And that song was about him. We weren't the closest friends, but I would just see him all the time, say hi. It was just really sad. So I don't know, that like the whole record has like this message to it that I wasn't trying to be preachy. I didn't sit down and think about it, but the whole message is like basically, you're not alone, don't give up. Like, there's somebody out here, like we're not going to pretend that things are okay. We're going to go through it. We're getting through this thing together, But yeah, the song was written for him. And that's the only song Andy's singing on. He's singing the harmonies and cool. All the eerie guitar stuff at the beginning. Like I do the finger picking on the acoustic, and Andy's doing all the ethereal. What'd you do? You took a slide and you got your Telecaster really close to the Marshall and just kept sliding it really fast.
Yeah. Kind of moving the slide back and forth to create like a bowed effect, but a real metallic sound. So
yep. Yeah. Starts out with that, almost like it's like a classical sort of a Swan Lake kind of a sound. And then it goes into the lyrical part. Andy singing back up. And there's a part that I recorded where Andy he lets out a sigh in the studio, like, or something. He was getting tired of me. I don't know what happened, but I got it on the recording. And while I was editing and mixing the song, I heard that and I was like, shit, it's gonna stay in here. This is awesome because it encapsulated, just the weariness of life, and put that in there. And then there's that long outro where we bring back in the rain effects. I just like recorded rain outside my window and put it on the at the end, and it's got that descending scale thing going on. But I love that song because I really think that's one that Andy probably had the most influence on. Just the most input, and it's an awesome song.
Yeah, that was one that we.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Andy. Yep.
I was going to say that was one that we restructured. I think you had recorded something, and then we worked really hard in one direction.
Yeah.
And then I came back the next day, and Daniel was like, "This is wrong. We're going to cut the song." It sounded like something off of U2's War album. Really driving, heavy. I think I played bass on that version. It was just like this real driving sound. And then I was like, well, let's try to redo it instead of trash it, because I thought the song was really cool. I mean, the message is great. I don't know if that was my idea or yours, but somehow we came to the conclusion we're gonna rework it.
I almost you encouraged me to keep it, but we restructured it, rewrote it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember that, again. This is when I had to kind of we had to write down the chords, and like I would hold up a sign that was like, okay, play the B, and then I like play the. It was like, how the heck? What is the structure of this song? You know, so I had to like write it down, and you were recording it or you were playing it, and I was like signaling you, something like that.
Yeah, well, I think you made a click track. You made a click track in the headphones for that, so I could stay on with the finger picking, because it was not easy to stay in time. You know, just unless you practiced it a lot. And we were trying to get the record out as fast as we could that summer, trying to finish it up, and using any tricks necessary. You know, like if we need a metronome or click track, we're going to do it. So we did.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's a great way to end the album. It's one of my favorite ones. So really cool.
Me too.
What's next for Dover Lights? You talked about this a little bit.
Yeah, I'd say for the writing, probably more than halfway there. But yeah, it's just going to take. I mean, I've had different ups and downs in my life. That I've had two kids since Dover Lights came out, and other things here and there. But it's been busy. But yeah, I'm actively working on it. I've got a plan, although it's loose. It's a loose plan.
Nice.
And the cool thing about this last record was, we released it during like the COVID era, right? So a lot of it was recorded before and during lockdown year in 2020, and it was released early 2021 when lockdowns were still going on. So we had this weird moment in history where, like, if you wanted to reach out to somebody online, like some famous person or some member of a band, you were likely to
do it.
Yeah. And so I reached out to some of the guys from The. It's one of my favorite bands. And you were talking about Blue Fox earlier. That was almost my impression of Matt Johnson from The does Kurt Vile. Like that was
yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I was basically trying to do my best, like Matt Johnson vocals on that one, even though it doesn't sound British. It was like kind of the style. But I reached out to some of the guys from The. James, he's been on bass in that band for a long time. He played on one of my favorite records, Dusk. Love that record. The 90s or 1993, I think is when it came out. And DC Collard, keyboard player, reached out to him as well. And DC came down and visited us. When was it, last year, Andy, or the year before last?
Oh, cool.
I think it was 2 years ago, because we ate at a restaurant that burned down not long after. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he rides down his Harley and shows up in all of his British majesty, and suddenly a month burns down. So we blame it on DC.
Yeah,
where does he live?
Chicago. He lives in Chicago.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, okay.
He's been there for like 20 years. But both those guys offered to play on the next one. And I think that's really cool. I befriended a couple of guys from the church during the process. Reached out to my two favorite guitar players of all time, Marty Wilson Piper and Peter Koppas. And both of them wound up kind of being musical mentors. And both have offered to, join in on, something in the future. So yeah, there's that. So really, one of the cool things about putting that record out is not that we didn't gain a huge following, we didn't sell a lot of records, we didn't become U2 or anything like that, but it did was it made friends with people that that I respect and that I just hold in really high esteem. And so I'm just hoping that if I write anything else, if I ever get anything else done, that it'll be good enough for those guys to play on. That's my hope. Yeah.
Cool. It's awesome. Any other plans?
Deus Vale doing another album or ever?
Oh, geez. I'm really good friends still with most of the guys there, but sadly a reunion is unlikely. So just because some of the members, their lives are so busy now that they've got lots and lots of kids and they work all over the country, and I don't think that they're super interested in getting the band back together. But I can't really do a very good impression of our singer's voice, so that kind of leaves it as a thing of the past. But thanks for asking.
Have you guys ever thought about or considered any type of public performance, or, might be hard to translate, some of the music, but, I don't know. Have you thought about that?
We did it one time, right, Andy? We did 2 songs. We did Memory Dissolve.
Yeah, we played 2 songs. Yeah, they were great. They were
on, and we're like wearing our sunglasses, pretending in this like really hot outdoor festival thing.
What was the other song that you did?
That's Illinois. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Did you like stripped down versions, or did you have recordings playing in the background? Or
wish I would have been stripped down that day. It was really hot.
No, we had a band.
You had a full band.
Because I played a bunch of my solos. I was playing some of my solo stuff with a band, and we just did 2 Dover Lights songs while we were playing. So the band played along too, and actually had Warren, the bouzouki player. He played his bouzouki on everything. It was like pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Did you guys videotape that?
I don't know if we got any videos. Surely somebody has. I think.
Where was it? Where was the festival at? Was it down there somewhere? Or?
It's like down the street. Yeah, it was at our friend's house. It really was. Yeah, there wasn't very many people there to see us, but there were some people came to the festival. So
yeah, it was Sam's. And what was it? What did he call it? Like the
Sam All Night. So yeah, there's a friend of ours that we record together and play together, Sam Albright, and he threw a festival called Sam All Night. And it was a good time. He did it upright. He had food trucks and all that stuff.
It was crazy.
It was super hot, and so nobody wanted to come out.
Hot and humid down there, probably, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not opposed to playing live. I think Andy and I are both kind of introverted musician artist types, like talking about recharging the battery. We have so much art to go around. I'm similar. It's like I need time to recharge and regroup and all that. So, but yeah, as far as playing live goes, I mean, we both love to play live. It just depends on whether or not anybody cares about the next record. So, but I'm decent with the marketing thing. So we'll see. I got it out.
It sounds like it. Yeah. And we'll lend our touch to it as much as we can. So yeah, you got to get it into more ear canals anyway. So we'll help with that. So
I'm looking forward to the next Andy Moore record. I think that's going to be.
Oh, thanks, Daniel.
It's going to be.
I am too.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the last one as well because I haven't heard it
yet. Yeah. Well, I hope you like it.
We'll check it out for sure. Yeah. And you guys have your first album, the Dover Lights album, is on vinyl too, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So I'll definitely try to pick up one of those. So
I'll send both of you a copy. Don't worry about it. We'll send it to you. Yeah.
You're too kind. You're too kind. What is it like? That's I do that. Come on, bring it on. Right. I can't. It doesn't translate well on the.
Yeah, it's just your fingers. It's always
there you go.
Nice. Yeah, it definitely sounds cool on vinyl.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a good job.
I'll probably have to play it by myself. My fiance won't prompt me. some of the songs are probably like, what? But I'll be in my kitchen. What's that?
Too dark for Christina?
She will like some. Well, she surprises me, so maybe I'll throw it on and she'll think it's totally awesome. I know she'll love some of it, but anyway. Yeah. But yeah,
it helps if you put on a lot of goth makeup before you listen to it. Just kind of get the mood.
Well, she won't be doing that. I might do it though.
I'm just kidding.
At least.
Well, thanks for chatting with us. Appreciate it. We'll catch up with you again when it comes out, the new album, if and when, might be next year this time, so.
Yeah.
But I love talking to you. I don't know about Jim.
Yeah, it's been good. Hey, I wanted to do a shout out to Steven Serro from On Teachers.
Oh, yeah.
He is how I found out about you guys, and he was a huge fan from early on, I think. Pre-internet, and I think during COVID or whatever, maybe.
Yeah. He's been a good source for us, I think.
Yeah, I had to mention him because we wouldn't know you guys if it wasn't for him. So.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
and we
cool.
love. I mean, we've tried. Jim is trying to always reaching out to people like Steve Kilby and different people. But we love getting like independent people or people that aren't very well known. you know, to try to spread the
Kilby
word
doesn't
around.
need it.
No, he doesn't. He was great. He was a great guy. Very down to earth. He was awesome. But yeah. Thanks to Stephen.
Yeah, shout out. Yeah. What a guy. And he's got a record coming out of his own, Unfeatured.
Yes, it's huge.
Yep.
Yeah, and I've had a chance to listen to it. And
Jim, you're part of his other band, right?
Yeah, we got a band called Mercy Shroud, and it's gonna be kind of like a post-punk and prog influenced band.
Oh, cool.
So we sound kind of like the Cure, or no, it's Rush playing Cure songs. That's what we sound.
Yeah,
that sounds fantastic.
I would say that's accurate. Yeah.
So
all right, I'm
just
gonna sit online.
like Geddy Lee.
Yeah, I don't think you're not too far into it though. The project.
We got
though, right?
we're working on stuff. This hopefully by the end of summer we'll have something on streaming. We just covered Peter Murphy's Strange Kind of Love, and we almost have that out. We're gonna put that on Spotify and stuff. So that'll be our first thing.
Yeah, I get to hear. Jim shares some of the tracks with me, and then I get to tell him whether it's crap or if it's good.
Well, that's what I want. Just, I understand that.
You're his dude.
That's right. You need to hear that.
The Mercy Shroud stuff is all pretty good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's all you, It's all the guitar.
No. Anyway, never mind. We'll talk about some other stuff.
You and I will talk about it. Yeah. Thanks for taking your time out, guys.
Yeah.
On your what are we on? Are we on? Is this Tuesday? It's Tuesday, right?
It's Tuesday.
I don't even know what day of the week it is.
22nd.
Yes.
I lose track of time. So, but all right.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for promoting the album 4 years into it. It kind of breathed new life into it.
Yeah.
It makes it feel like it's all worthwhile.
You're welcome. Yeah, we love to do it. So we appreciate you guys. All right.
It's new to us, so it's like it just came out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Nice talking to you guys. Take care.
Yep. We'll talk to you soon.
See y'all later.
Have a good night. And that is going to wrap it up. What a great conversation. We loved talking to these guys, and we love spreading the word on music that maybe not a lot of people have heard and been exposed to, and hopefully you'll be able to go and check them out, check out their future releases as they work on the upcoming album. Love also that they're from the Ozark Mountains, just a little ways south from where I live, and I've been down there. I love it there. It's such a great place to go and hike and see nature. There is a very diverse geography, and it's just intriguing to me that I can go from upper Missouri down to Arkansas, and the flora, rock formations, and boulders and different things all of a sudden appear. There's ferns, there's mosses, there's evergreens that are not native to Missouri, and I just think it's really interesting to me. My buddy and I, Scott, like to go hiking every 2 or 3 months. Arkansas has been one of our biggest spots to go to, as he's from Dallas and I'm from Kansas City, so we kind of try to meet in the middle, and there's just so much to explore there. And so, it's really cool to me that there's a band. I'm sure there's many other bands that have formed, in the area, but there's a band that has formed and has brought us this really dark, melancholic music, a la Peter Murphy and Bauhaus and so many other bands that resonate as you hear their music. Once again, thanks for joining us. I typically end the episode with a track from the artist that I'm profiling, and I'm really not sure what song by Dover Lights I am going to play, but I'm going to throw a full track in there just for your listening enjoyment. The obvious go-to is Memory Dissolves, but maybe I'll do something a little bit different. That's what the typical reviewers and interviewers have featured. Fair enough, because it's really catchy. It's like what the band kind of chose, I think, to focus on for their single and for people to get acquainted with them. And so I get it, but hey, I'll probably throw something else in there that I'm really digging right now. So I'm not even sure what's going to be right now. So we're all going to be surprised together. Until next time, peace and love to all of you. Take care.
Karen Hill 2.
Is there no way out? Is there no place for you, my friend? Systems within systems of faces. Was the earth alien to you? The city was not your home, but you moved northeast alone, determined not to leave. When you left on New Year's Eve, is there no way out? Is the sun burned out? Is there no way out? Is there no place for you, my friend? Is there no way out? Is the sun burned out? Is there no way out? Is there no place for you?